The iconic Keystone Arch Bridge, the centerpiece and gem around which the other historic structures of Elkader, Iowa stand. It has been the central focus for many visitors to our community and has been immortalized in countless works of art throughout its many years of existence. The beauty of its design and the workmanship in its original construction are unique and becoming more rare as time passes, as this type of bridge is replaced both in Clayton County and across the nation for more modern structures. It is not the first bridge to span the Turkey River at this place. It is a surprise to many people that there were 3 different bridges built over a span of 36 years before the current bridge was built. To get a better understanding of its place in Elkader history, we need to step back in time to Elkader's founding. June 22, 1846 is the day on which the town plat of Elkader was officially submitted. The 3 men who were key in founding and developing of the town of Elkader were Timothy Davis, John Thompson, and Chester Sage. Timothy Davis came to the area on a political tour in 1844 seeking votes for election to the legislature. On the banks of the Turkey River, he met Elisha Boardman, who had staked his claim to land on the east side of the river. It was he who showed Mr. Davis the wonderful potential for milling wheat into flour, which the unique landscape and river provided for such a venture. The men came up from Dubuque together and purchased the property for Mr. Boardman on the east side of the river, as well as procuring land on the west side of the river from the U.S. government, which would become the platted town of Elkader. Before the town was named Elkader, it was also known as Sageville and Boardman's Ford. From the beginning, the objective of the 3 men was to develop the town with the flourishing mill as the centerpiece around which the town would thrive. Over the next 2 years, the men surveyed and platted the town, submitting the plat on June 22, 1846. The mill's construction was begun in 1846 and finished in 1847, being the largest grist mill north of Dubuque and west of the Mississippi. It served the farming community for a radius of 150 miles and was instrumental in the progress and development of the town. It was a time of many firsts, and men and women of incredible courage and vision persevered under extreme conditions to form the bedrock of the flourishing town of Elkader. Timothy Davis was the man responsible for giving Elkader its name. Davis was an admirer of the Algerian Emir Abdelkader, who led the fight for his country's freedom from France, as well as his humanitarian positions. With his name in mind, Davis called the new town Elkader. A necessity for a river town like Elkader is a bridge. This is a feature we take for granted in this day and age, but there was a battle in the early days over the rights of the river. Much commerce and trade was done with keelboats or steamers, and the presence of a bridge or dam crossed paths with the merchant's purpose of easy navigation. Not until 1866 was the Turkey River declared by law to be non-navigable, meaning those who wanted to build bridges and dams had a greater right than the merchants who were plying the waters of the Turkey to bring goods to market. For the first 7 years of its existence, Elkader had no bridge, relying on a scow or flatboat to ferry people back and forth across the river. In 1853, the first bridge was completed. It was a wooden structure without piers or abutments and relied on bents which were embedded in the river bottom and reached to the level of the bridge bed to support the crossing. Just 8 years later, in 1861, the original bridge was replaced with a more substantial wooden structure with piers and abutments. In 1870, the second wooden bridge was replaced by an iron truss bridge, which was hoped to last many years. However, it served its purpose for only 9 years, and in 1888 the steel truss bridge was condemned, and the process was begun again to design and build a bridge that would withstand time and the elements. For all the confidence and hope put into the bridge to be long-lasting, it was found to be unsafe. In June of 1888, the Board of Supervisors called on Matthew Shergi, an engineer in Dubuque, to assess the need for a new bridge. The need was found to be immediate, and the board began to secure plans and specifications for another bridge. With this report, the supervisors made the decision to replace the bridge with a plan specifically calling for a stone structure, which would be permanent and avoid the expense of yearly maintenance of replanking another iron or wooden bridge. On June 30th, 1888, the bid for erecting the bridge was given to the company of Burns and Blake of Dubuque for a cost of $13,000. The design by Mr. Shergi called for a double-arch structure, 204 feet in length and 30 feet wide, with a 6-foot sidewalk on the interior of the bridge. By mid-July, the quarrymen were at work cutting the stones from the coal quarry at the top of Lover's Leap. An August 8, 1888 article in the Elkader Register reported, "A large force of men in Cole's quarry are getting out rock for the new bridge, and they are getting out some massive stones." It is an interesting fact in regard to the construction of the Stone Arch Bridge that there was always access across the old iron bridge while the new stone bridge was being built, even though it was being constructed in the same place as the old bridge. Thus, the inconvenience for the town was lessened. Though the bridge was originally expected to be completed in December 1888, it took until August of 1889 to finish the work. A total of 10 months and 2 weeks with time off in the winter months, an incredible accomplishment considering the primitive equipment used in the construction. The total cost of the Keystone Arch Bridge construction was finalized at $16,282.49. The weight is estimated at 18,618,255 pounds, equal to 9,309 tons. A stone tablet was placed at the center of the bridge on the interior of the north side containing the date of construction, names of the board of supervisors, engineer, and contractors. Keystone Arch construction dates back to the Roman aqueducts. The bridge arches were constructed by building a wooden support in the shape of an arch called a centering. Carefully shaped stones were then laid in place from each side until it was nearly complete. A final row of wedge-shaped stones, or keystones, were carefully lowered into the place, which locked the two sides together. The wood supports were then removed, and the arch was freestanding. Today, the Keystone Bridge stands as a testimony to the craftsmanship and genius of that day. The bridge is one of 11 structures in Elkader listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The downtown district is also on the National Register. The bridge was placed on the National Register in 1876. The bridge has remained the same as when it was built except for the addition of the sidewalk. The original plans for the bridge called for a walkway on the inside of the railing, the travel portion of the bridge. As modes of transportation changed, it became necessary to add a sidewalk outside the travel portion. A sidewalk was added to the upstream side in 1924. The walkway was reconstructed in 1972 and again as part of the major reconstruction in 2023. The bridge was originally built by the County Board of Supervisors. At a point prior to 1982, the state of Iowa owned and maintained it as it was a part of Highway 13. In 1982, the Highway 13 bypass opened and the bridge was reverted to the city. Floodwaters have raged under and through the bridge frequently. Most notably was the flood of record in 2008, which inundated many parts of eastern Iowa. Due to its strong construction, the bridge sustained little damage. In 2007, an important preservation project was completed. This project removed a 6-inch water main that went through the bridge. A water main was placed in the bridge originally because floods had washed it out of the riverbed. However, a large water main within the limestone structure posed a threat to the structure because it could leak and damage the stone. Part of the 2007 project was also tuck pointing and stone repair. In 2015, the city began planning for what would become the most comprehensive project on the bridge since it was built in 1889. The scope of the work included replacing the driving surface, which included adding curb and a waterproof membrane to keep water from infiltrating the structure, replacing the driving surface and sidewalk from the end of the bridge to the intersecting streets, improving the storm sewer system adjacent to the bridge, installing a new sidewalk including new metal brackets, and extensive mortar and stone repair. Construction started April 4th, 2022. However, 16 days later, construction was halted due to a crack widening. Repair to the crack would cost another $3 million and involved setting up a framework that looks similar to the original construction. Traffic access was restored in December 2023, and the project was complete the following spring. Total project cost was $7.3 million. It was paid for by a combination of state and federal grants and a local bond issue. Due to the magnitude of the project, this was considered more than just a repair or rehab, but a reconstruction. With periodic stone repair and tuck pointing, this project extended the life of the bridge another 50 years. This led us to rededicate the bridge in 2024, which is also the 135th anniversary of its original construction. The historic Keystone Arch Bridge is a unique feature of Elkader that adds much to the town's charm and beauty.